So it's a great story of redemption. Tamar plays my angel, so I depend on her to help me get my life right.
Hey guys, welcome back to the channel where we uncover what's really happening behind entertainment's biggest headlines. Today, we're diving into a story that's taken an unexpected turn. How Snoop Dogg may have just changed the entire narrative surrounding the Braxton sisters' rumored $2 million television comeback. The entertainment world has been buzzing about the Braxtons' supposed new deal following the dramatic production shutdown of their previous show.
What I love about the show is that every day is not the same. You go into the house, from what I watch on TV, you go into the house and things are looking one way, and then a couple of hours later or a couple of days later, everything is completely flipped upside down.
If you've been following along, you know that tensions reportedly reached a breaking point when Toni Braxton walked off set after Tamar brought their niece, Ashley, into the mix. But now, according to industry whispers, Snoop Dogg might have revealed information that casts doubt on everything we thought we knew. During what sources describe as a casual conversation at a recent industry event, Snoop, who previously collaborated with Tamar on her All the Way Home remix and has maintained connections with the family.
You know what? I've always been a fan of her and her music and everything that she's brought to the table since she came in the game. When I got with Jacarius Johnson, the writer and the director, your name was first on the list and we didn't have no backups. It wasn't no seconds. It was like, go get her.
Allegedly shared insights that contradict the widely circulated narrative. While we can't verify exactly what was said, people close to the situation suggest his comments addressed both the reported $2 million figure and the nature of the production shutdown. What makes this particularly intriguing is the web of connections between these celebrities. DJ Who Kid, who has worked with both Snoop and previously interviewed Tamar.
How you gonna go to the top? How you gonna win this competition? Because you can go inside of the game thinking you're gonna be, laying low, I'm gonna be cool, but then find yourself in the midst of all the drama or causing the drama.
Reportedly referenced these comments on his radio show. Meanwhile, Martha Stewart, Snoop's close friend and business partner, is said to have ties to executives at the production company supposedly backing the Braxtons' new venture. Remember when Trina Braxton appeared on GGN News back in 2018, establishing a direct connection between the family and Snoop? That relationship adds an interesting dimension to these developing whispers, though like most behind-the-scenes industry talk, we should view these connections as pieces of a puzzle that might not yet reveal the complete picture until more information comes to light.
I was lying about how amazing I was doing, and I allowed the makeup and the hair to cover up everything that I was feeling, because that's just what you're used to do when you're a working mother or you just have to get things done. You cover up.
What makes this situation particularly fascinating is that it's happening after the Braxton sisters promised to maintain peace following their sister Tracy's passing. So what could possibly be so serious that it would break that sacred promise? The answer involves betrayal, secret alliances, and a family member whose appearance on set ignited absolute chaos. Let's rewind a bit to understand how we got here. The Braxton family burst onto our screens over a decade ago with their hit reality show, Braxton Family Values.
Our household became very hard. And it was hard because I wasn't happy at my job. And I hadn't been happy for years.
While Toni was already a household name with her Grammy Awards and chart-topping hits like Unbreak My Heart, the show introduced us to her sisters Tamar, Trina, Towanda, and Tracy. From day one, the dynamics were clear. Toni was the established star who had paved the way, but Tamar quickly emerged as the breakout personality of the show. Her unfiltered comments, larger-than-life persona, and quotable moments made her an instant fan favorite. Remember.com, Boom, and all those iconic Tamarisms.
And we tend to have parents or friends or other families say, you know what, don't do about that dream right now. Don't worry about that dream. You need to do this right here. Then you miss your blessings.
Right.
She wasn't just participating in reality TV, she was redefining it. The show's success opened doors for all the sisters, particularly Tamar, who leveraged her newfound fame into a music career revival, talk show opportunities, and additional reality TV ventures. But with increased visibility came increased scrutiny, and the cracks in the family foundation began to show. What made Braxton Family Values different from other reality shows was that these weren't strangers thrown together. These were sisters with decades of complex history.
I have my moments, but I think I'm the peacekeeper, if you want to know the truth.
Really?
Yes.
Why?
Well, because I don't like confrontation. I don't like a lot of mess going on in my life.
Mm-hmm.
I just like to keep it cool, keep it copacetic. Eat, drink, and be merry, man.
Every disagreement carried the weight of childhood rivalries, past hurts, and family loyalty. When they fought, it wasn't just for cameras. It was the culmination of lifelong relationship dynamics playing out for the world to see. If we're being honest, Tamar Braxton has been at the center of family drama since the very beginning. It's almost like a pattern that repeats itself season after season. Remember her explosive arguments with Tracy? Those weren't just typical sister disagreements. They were full-blown confrontations that often ended with someone walking out or production having to intervene.
I'm finally starting to do my dream. And if I crash and burn, if it fails, if it's not become where I want it to become, I did it for myself.
Then there were the ongoing tensions with Towanda, which frequently revolved around accusations of favoritism and jealousy. Tamar didn't hold back when suggesting that her sisters envied her success, particularly after her music career took off with Love and War. These weren't subtle implications. They were direct statements made on camera and in interviews. Her relationship with Trina has been equally tumultuous. From criticizing Trina's personal choices to public disagreements about business decisions,
Okay, we used to make our own videos, we used to make our own, television shows.
Right.
We used to do it all up, and we only had each other to play with because we're all girls. So my dad, being a minister, he did not allow us to go to a bunch of people's houses and all the kind of stuff. They did not play that, especially with a bunch of girls.
Tamar has consistently positioned herself in opposition to her sister's life path. These conflicts weren't resolved in private. They became central storylines that drove ratings and social media conversations. What's particularly interesting is how Tamar's conflicts extend beyond her immediate family. Her departure from The Real in 2016 sparked massive controversy when she publicly accused her co-hosts Adrian Balin, Jeannie Mai, and Lonnie Love of orchestrating her removal. Despite network statements contradicting her version of events, Tamar maintained her position, creating yet another public dispute. Even her relationships with producers and network executives have been fraught with tension. She's repeatedly claimed that editing portrays her unfairly, suggesting a conspiracy to make her appear more confrontational than she actually is. But those who've worked with her tell a different story about her on-set conduct. Now we've arrived at the current explosion, and it's a doozy. According to inside sources, the breaking point came when Tamar made a shocking decision. She invited her niece, Ashley Braxton, to appear on the family's new reality series. On the surface, bringing family onto a family show seems harmless enough, right? But here's where it gets complicated. Ashley isn't just any family member. She's the niece who publicly exposed a deeply troubling situation involving her aunt Toni Braxton. Years ago, when Ashley was only 16, she claimed that Trina's then-husband Gabe sent her inappropriate text messages. But instead of supporting her teenage niece, Trina allegedly blamed Ashley for the situation, accused her of somehow being responsible for Gabe's actions, and subsequently cut her off completely. This wasn't just a minor family disagreement. It was a serious situation involving a minor that created a permanent rift between Trina and Ashley. For years, this painful chapter remained largely private, with Ashley essentially exiled from certain family gatherings and relationships. By bringing Ashley onto the show, Tamar wasn't just adding another family member to the cast. She was deliberately reopening a wound that had never properly healed. She was giving Ashley a platform to tell her side of the story on camera, knowing full well how this would impact Trina and the family dynamics. The decision was clearly calculated. Tamar, who has positioned herself as Ashley's supporter, knew exactly what would happen when Ashley arrived on set. This wasn't about family healing. It was about creating a confrontation that would generate dramatic television moments. Toni Braxton has always been the peacemaker of the family. Despite her superstar status, she's typically tried to stay above the fray, intervening only when absolutely necessary. She's the one who reminds everyone about family loyalty and the importance of presenting a united front to the world. But even Toni has her limits, and apparently, they've been reached. Sources close to production reveal that Toni was completely blindsided by Ashley's appearance on set. Unlike Tamar, who orchestrated the surprise, Toni had no advance warning about this provocative casting decision. When she realized what was happening, that Tamar had deliberately brought Ashley in to confront Trina on camera, she reportedly became visibly upset. What pushed Toni over the edge wasn't just this single incident, but the pattern it represented. After losing their sister Tracy, the Braxtons had made a solemn promise to prioritize family harmony and support each other through grief. Tamar's decision to ignite this controversy felt like a betrayal of that sacred agreement, putting entertainment value above family healing. The final straw came during filming when Ashley began sharing her side of the story, creating an uncomfortable and tense environment. Witnesses say Toni attempted to de-escalate the situation at first, but when it became clear that Tamar had orchestrated the entire confrontation, something changed in Toni's demeanor. Without saying much, she reportedly gathered her belongings, removed her microphone, and walked off set, an unprecedented move for the typically professional eldest Braxton. Production immediately halted, with crew members unsure how to proceed without the family's biggest star. This wasn't just a temporary pause. Insiders claim the entire production was thrown into chaos, with serious questions about whether filming could continue at all. Let's talk about something that's rarely discussed openly but always simmers beneath the surface: the financial disparities between the Braxton sisters. According to industry insiders, Tamar and Toni command significantly higher salaries for their reality TV appearances than their sisters Trina and Towanda. We're not talking small differences either. Reports suggest they're earning six-figure deals while the others receive considerably less. This financial imbalance creates an undeniable power dynamic within the family. Imagine watching your sister, the same one constantly stirring up drama, earning substantially more than you for participating in the same show. That knowledge would color every interaction, every disagreement, every family decision. What makes this situation particularly interesting is Tamar's initial reluctance to participate in the new series. Sources claim she initially expressed disinterest in returning to reality TV, only to negotiate a lucrative deal and then return with dramatic flair. This sequence of events has allegedly created resentment among her sisters, who view it as manipulative and calculated. The financial aspect adds another layer to Toni's frustration. As the family's biggest star, she likely feels responsible for creating opportunities for her sisters. Seeing Tamar potentially jeopardize those opportunities through provocative actions must be particularly galling, especially considering the significant pay difference. Industry experts have pointed out that this kind of salary disparity is common in reality television, where cast members are paid based on their perceived value to ratings rather than equal distribution. However, when those cast members are family, the business reality creates personal complications that can't be easily separated from family dynamics. There's an uncomfortable truth about reality television that we need to address. Conflict equals viewership. The more dramatic the confrontations, the higher the ratings, and the more valuable the show becomes to networks. This creates a perverse incentive system where cast members who create the most chaos often become the most financially rewarded. Tamar Braxton seems to understand this equation better than anyone. Throughout her reality TV career, she's consistently positioned herself at the center of the most explosive moments. Whether arguing with her sisters, confronting producers, or bringing unexpected guests onto set, she has an uncanny ability to create memorable television moments that drive social media conversation. Network executives aren't oblivious to this dynamic. Despite the family tensions, Tamar continues to receive offers for new shows and opportunities precisely because she delivers what reality TV thrives on: unpredictability and drama. This creates a cycle where her provocative actions are effectively reinforced through financial rewards and increased screen time. The question becomes, is Tamar deliberately manufacturing drama for career advancement, or is she simply being her authentic self? Those close to the family are divided on this point. Some insist that what we see on camera is exactly who Tamar is: unfiltered and unapologetic. Others suggest she's playing a calculated character, understanding exactly what producers want and delivering it consistently. What makes this particularly complex is how it affects family relationships. If your sister's confrontational tendencies are damaging your relationship but advancing her career, how do you address that without seeming jealous of her success? This impossible situation creates resentments that extend far beyond what we see on camera. There's a deeper emotional layer to this family conflict that deserves our attention. The Braxton family is still processing the profound loss of their sister Tracy, who passed away after a battle with cancer. Grief doesn't follow a predictable timeline, and each sister is navigating this loss in her own way, which inevitably affects how they interact with each other. During Tracy's final days, the sisters reportedly made a pact to prioritize family unity and put their differences aside. This wasn't just an emotional moment for the cameras. It was a genuine commitment made during one of life's most sobering experiences. The promise to honor Tracy's memory by maintaining peace makes the current conflict particularly painful. Grief experts often note that family tensions frequently escalate after a loss, as unresolved issues rise to the surface and coping mechanisms are strained. The Braxtons are experiencing this phenomenon in the public eye, which adds another layer of complexity to their healing process. Private grief becomes public entertainment, creating an almost impossible situation to navigate healthily. Toni, as the eldest sister, likely feels a responsibility to uphold the family's promise to Tracy. This would explain her strong reaction to Tamar's provocative actions. It's not just about the immediate drama, it's about honoring a commitment made to their sister who is no longer with them. For Tamar, grief might be expressing itself differently. Some close to her suggest that her increased confrontational tendencies could be a manifestation of unprocessed grief, creating external conflicts as a way to externalize internal pain. This doesn't excuse harmful actions, but it might help explain the timing and intensity of recent conflicts. In today's social media landscape, family conflicts don't stay private for long. Each Braxton sister has her own platform and following, creating multiple narratives about what's really happening behind the scenes. This battle for public perception adds another complicated dimension to their family dynamics. Tamar, with her substantial social media presence, often takes to platforms like Instagram and Twitter to share her side of stories before episodes even air. This proactive approach to narrative control gives her a distinct advantage in shaping public opinion. By the time viewers see what happened on screen, they've already been primed to interpret events through Tamar's perspective. Toni takes a markedly different approach. Maintaining her long-established image as the dignified elder sister, she rarely addresses family conflicts on social media, preferring to handle matters privately. While this preserves her professional reputation, it also means her perspective is often underrepresented in public discussions about family drama. Fans have created distinct camps, with Team Tamar and supporters of other sisters engaging in heated debates online. This public division likely makes reconciliation even more difficult, as making amends privately becomes complicated when thousands of followers are invested in the conflict continuing. Media coverage further complicates matters. Entertainment outlets often frame stories to maximize drama, sometimes misrepresenting nuanced family dynamics for clickbait headlines. The sisters then feel compelled to respond to these distortions, creating an exhausting cycle of public statement and clarification. What's particularly challenging is how these public perception battles affect family gatherings. Imagine trying to have an honest conversation with your sister while mentally calculating how it might be perceived by fans or framed by media outlets. This awareness inevitably influences what's said and how conflicts are addressed, making authentic resolution more difficult. Let's examine something rarely discussed: how being on reality television for over a decade fundamentally changes family dynamics. The Braxtons haven't just been sharing their lives. They've been commodifying their relationships for entertainment, and that takes a psychological toll that can't be underestimated. When cameras are present, behavior changes. Even the most authentic person becomes somewhat performative when they know millions will be watching. For the Braxtons, this means that family discussions that should happen privately often occur with production crews present, creating an unnatural environment for resolving sensitive issues. The financial incentives of reality TV also complicate genuine conflict resolution. When dramatic confrontations translate directly to higher ratings and increased paychecks, there's a subconscious motivation to amplify disagreements rather than resolve them quietly. This doesn't mean the emotions aren't real. They absolutely are, but the expression of those emotions is inevitably influenced by the medium. Long-term reality TV participation also blurs the line between public and private identity. After years of being characters in their own lives, the sisters may struggle to separate their authentic selves from the personas they've developed on screen. This identity confusion makes it harder to address family issues from a place of genuine connection rather than performed interaction. The production environment itself creates additional stress. Imagine trying to process complex family emotions while producers are suggesting conversation topics, camera operators are capturing your most vulnerable moments, and editors will later shape your experience into a narrative you might not recognize. This artificial context makes authentic healing nearly impossible. What the Braxtons are experiencing isn't unique to them. It's a phenomenon observed across long-running reality shows. The longer a family remains on television, the more their relationships become shaped by the demands of the format rather than natural family evolution. So where do the Braxtons go from here? With production halted, family tensions at an all-time high, and public interest intensifying, the sisters face difficult choices about their relationships both on and off camera. Industry insiders suggest that network executives are scrambling to salvage the show, potentially offering increased compensation to bring Toni back to set. But the fundamental question remains, is continuing this public display of family dysfunction worth the emotional cost? At what point does the damage to relationships outweigh the professional opportunities? For Toni, this situation likely represents a crossroads. As someone who has always prioritized her musical legacy over reality TV fame, she may be questioning whether continuing with the show aligns with her personal values and professional goals. Her decision to walk off set could be the first step toward establishing firmer boundaries with both her family and the entertainment industry. Tamar faces her own challenging decisions. Her reality TV persona has become a significant part of her brand and income stream, but at what cost to her family relationships? The pattern of conflict followed by reconciliation has sustained viewer interest for years, but it may have created irreparable damage to the trust between sisters. The younger Braxtons, Trina and Towanda, are caught in a particularly difficult position. With less individual fame and financial independence than their more successful sisters, they have more to lose if the show ends. Yet continuing in this environment means subjecting themselves to ongoing public scrutiny of painful family matters, like the situation involving Trina's ex-husband and her niece, Ashley. Family therapy experts who have observed the Braxtons suggest that genuine healing would require stepping away from cameras completely, at least temporarily. The artificial environment of reality TV production makes authentic reconciliation nearly impossible, as every conversation is shaped by awareness of the audience. Perhaps the most hopeful perspective comes from those who've known the Braxtons since before their television fame. These longtime friends insist that beneath the drama and public personas, there remains a foundation of genuine love and family loyalty. They point to how the sisters have overcome previous conflicts and suggest that this current crisis, while serious, isn't necessarily the end of their relationship. What's clear is that the Braxton family stands at a pivotal moment. The choices they make now will determine not just the future of their television careers, but the quality of their relationships for years to come. And while viewers may be entertained by the drama, the real human cost behind these entertaining moments shouldn't be overlooked or minimized.